day, everyone. Today I will be reporting chapter 30 entitled The Inductance. So, in the previous chapter, we learned about the electromagnetic induction. So, we are changing magnetic flux produces an induced EMF. In this chapter, we will extend that idea and study inductance, which describes how changing currents produce induced EMFs in circuits. So inductance is very important in real-life electrical systems such as power transmission lines, transformers, electrical motors, and oscillating circuits. So something that you can see outside of your house, like your blanca, something that has to do with flowing of electricity, yes, across different areas, different houses, and etc. So let us first look at the learning goals for chapter 30. At the end of this lesson, we should be able to first explain how time-varying current in one coil can induce an EMF in another nearby coil, a phenomenon called mutual inductance. Second, relate the induced EMF in a circuit to the rate of change of current in the same circuit, which is called self-inductance. Third, calculate the energy stored in a magnetic field. Fourth, analyze circuits that include both resistor and an inductor, also known as the R to L circuits. Finally, explain why electrical oscillations occur in circuits that contain both an inductor and a capacitor. To introduce inductance, consider traffic lights that change automatically when a car approaches an intersection. So that is a good example or introduction of this topic, inductance. So under the road, there is a large coil of wire that carries a current which changes with time. When a car, which contains conducting metals, moves near the coil, electric currents are induced in the car. So these induced currents then create their own magnetic fields, which in turn induce an EMF in borrowed coil, signaling traffic systems that a car magnetic field or this conducting metal is present. So this is a good example for this inductance, in which it involves the conducting materials and also the electric currents that are induced in the cars, which is essential for these traffic lights. So some of the traffic lights, especially here in our place, is that um, the traffic lights are already programmed for that specific time period. I think it doesn't involve this kind of, however, in other, I think in other areas they use this inductance, in which involves also the car, if ever it passed in that specific area where the it where that area will detect the conducting metal and then moves near the coil that are being located beneath the road, and also the electric cars are induced in the car, which is I think in other areas, but here in our place it's not applicable. Yes. So mutual inductance. So for the first mutual inductance, now we move to the concept of this. Consider two neighboring coils. So we have here the two neighboring coils. So the neighboring coils of wire placed close to each other. Close to each other. If the current is in coil 1 changes with time, diba? I mean, yes, it has these turns as what I've mentioned in our last or previous topic, like a coil, it has a turn. So if the current in coil 1 changes with time, the magnetic field it produces also changes. This changing magnetic field passes through coil 2. So this, for example, let's just give this coil 1 and also this coil 2. So the magnetic field will pass through coil 2 and producing a changing magnetic flux in coil 2. As a result, an EMF is induced in coil 2 even the two coils are not electrically connected. This phenomenon is called mutual inductance, which involves two coils. We can have other materials, but the good example is the coils for this mutual inductance. Involves about the passing through of the magnetic field from one coil to another, and that is what we call the mutual inductance. So, mutual inductance defined as follows. So, we have here the formula. The EMF sub 2 is equal to negative M, which is the mutual inductance measured in Henrys, times the rate of change of current in coil 1. So, rate of change of current in coil 1. So, we have there the DI1, DI sub 1 over the dt, or the change. Those are the change. When we say, when a formula has d in it, so it means a change. So, I'll be just discussing it later if we're going to have a sample problem. So, we have the application of electric toothbrush. So, in this slide, it shows the electric toothbrush that uses mutual inductance. So, the base contains a coil connected to an alternating current source. So, this alternating current produces a changing magnetic field even though there is no direct electrical contact between the base and the toothbrush. The changing magnetic field induces an EMF in a coil inside the toothbrush, which recharges the battery. So this is a safe and practical use of mutual inductance. So it is very good. It is very nice to imagine that we had that kind of technology in which it involved the use of this mutual inductance or something like inductance. So this is something that we have been enjoying nowadays. So let's proceed with self-inductance. So any current that contains a coil and carries a time-varying current experiences a self-induced EMF, in which this induced EMF is produced by the current or the circuit itself and opposes the change in current, according to Lenz's law. So it has a formula, which is the electromotive force is equal to the negative L, which is a length, and also the rate of change of current. So it's the same, but however, when it comes to the difference between the mutual and also the self is that mutual, it involves two. However, in self-inductance, it involves only one. That's why it is called self. Okay, so inductors and lightning strikes. So this explains why inductors are important in power systems. So if lightning strikes a power transmission line, it causes a sudden and very large change in current, producing a dangerous voltage spike. So large inductors are used to oppose rapid changes in current, protecting electrical equipment from damage. So we also have here the inductors as circuit elements. So in circuits, an inductor is treated as a circuit element, similar to a resistor or a capacitor. So as we all know, what is the purpose of the resistor? It is to resist or to limit the amount of current that will pass from one rod to another. The amount of electricity that will pass. And a capacitor, from the word itself, capacitor, meaning it has a capacity to contain or something to pack. Yeah. So the potential difference across an inductor depends on how fast the current is changing, not on the current itself. So we have here the potential difference across an inductor. So it has a formula of the volts sub length is equal to length rate of change in current. Okay, so that is the formula. So for potential across a resistor, for a comparison, recall the potential difference across the resistor, which is given by Ohm's law. So VR is equal to IR. So this shows that a resistor depends on the value of the current, while an inductor depends on the rate of change of current. So, an inductor with constant current, when the current through an inductor is constant, the rate of change of current is zero. Therefore, the potential difference across the inductor is zero. Zero. Okay? So, an inductor with increasing current, when the current is increasing, the inductor produces a potential difference that opposes the increase in current. This means the potential drops in direction of the current flow. That is for the inductor with increasing current. How about the inductor with decreasing current? So when the current is decreasing, the inductor attempts to maintain the current by producing a potential difference in the opposite direction. This causes the potential to increase in the direction of flow. Now we have here the magnetic field energy. So a resistor dissipates energy as heat, and this energy cannot be recovered according to the law of thermodynamics, because energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Okay? So in contrast, an inductor stores energy in its magnetic field, and this energy can be discovered when the current decreases. So this has these formulas, which is for the energy stored in an inductor. We have here the U, which is the energy stored measured in joules. It is a potential. Yes, a potential. It is an energy. The U is an energy. So which is equal to the 1/2 Li squared. What is L? L is length and I is current in amperes. Okay. So we also have another formula here. So magnetic energy densities. So the energy is stored in an inductor is actually stored in the magnetic field itself. So again, the energy stored in an inductor is actually stored in the magnetic field itself. The magnetic energy density or energy per unit volume in a vacuum is given by du or is equal to the magnetic field squared over the permeability of space, two times the permeability of free space. If the magnetic field is inside a material, we replace permeability of free space to U itself. Just the U, you know. So now we have here the R to L circuit. So it was stated there in our objectives about this. So an R to L circuit contains a resistor and an inductor connected in series. So how can we say that? How can we differentiate? The series from parallel. So when you say series, it is connected. A series of it doesn't have these several branches, but it only flows in one direction. Okay, so when the switch is closed, the current does not increase instantly because the inductor poses changes in current. So the current grows in R to L circuit, so the current gradually increases and approaches a final steady value. So I, or the current, is equal to the electromotive force over the resistance. However, if the time constant of an R to L circuit is given by the time constant is equal to the L over the R. Okay? So, if the current decay in an R to L circuit, when the battery is removed, the energy stored in the magnetic field of the inductor maintains a decreasing current. So, the current decays exponentially with the same time constant, which is the time constant over the L over R. So, this is the formula. So, now, we have here the L to C current circuit. So, it is the oscillation. So, an L to C circuit contains an inductor and a capacitor and is an oscillating circuit. So, the circuit energy oscillates between the electric field of the capacitor and the magnetic field of the inductor. So, it has this step-by-step process which is slowly talk about it later. So, we have here also the electrical oscillations formulas. For the change, charge, and current varies solidly with time.